Mm. Good morning, everyone. We have two very interesting topics today. One is cool sculpting, and to learn how it works and what to expect. And this is being given by Shikha, and the other one is by Dr. Sala Reddy. It's optimizing your immune system naturally, making the best of your body's natural defensive now and long term. So ladies, we are also going to have a video demonstration of a cool sculpting on a patient. So just want to say a few words on the speakers. Shikha Murchia completed her medical schooling from Christian Medical College, Ludhiana in India. She is board certified in internal medicine and practices at Compass Medical in East Bridgewater as a primary care physician. She is also a member of American College of Lifestyle Medicine. She is a specialist in cool sculpting, which she has been practicing at ESP Medical Aesthetics in Brockton. ESP Medical and Aesthetics provide several aesthetic services such as Botox, fillers, PRP facial or called vampire facial, PRP hair restoration in addition to cool sculpting, contouring, breast surgery, eyelid surgery, facelift, facial rejuvenation, and surgical wound treatments. Then we have Dr. Sila Reddy, who is a physician for over 25 years of experience. She aims to heal the patients through functional medicine approach, a new model of healthcare that focuses on identifying the root cause of illness and treating your body as a whole system rather than treating the isolated set of symptoms. She also does advanced diagnostic testing and tailor the treatment plans to patients' specific needs. He is an American board certified physician in internal medicine, integrative, and functional medicine. She practices medicine in Framingham, Massachusetts. So one quick question is, all the questions that you want to ask will be asked at the end of the two presentations. You can put your questions in the chat and we'll take all the questions. Thank you. Here is to Shikha Murchia. Shikha.
Hi, how are you everybody? Thank you for having me as a speaker, Sapna. And I'm going to try and be technically advanced now. I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so I'm going to speak on cool sculpting, what it is and what to expect. And so I'll talk a little bit about just body contouring. So cool sculpting is actually a type of body sculpting or body contouring procedure. Okay, let's see, what's the next slide. So body contouring is actually a broad term which is used for any procedure that is used to redefine, reshape, tighten or tone the body so as to improve the appearance of any part of the body. For example, your abdomen, your arms, etc. And types of body contouring can be invasive, which we probably all have heard of, like an abdominoplasty, or it's also called a tummy tuck. And then there's a minimally invasive type like laser liposuction. These procedures can be done in the OR or at the office. And then non-invasive, which are the most popular, that is cryolipolysis, which means, or freezing your fat. Then there can be laser fat reduction or radiofrequency fat reduction. And these are the most popular procedures which are done mostly in physicians' offices. So why do we choose non-invasive body contouring? Non-invasive body contouring is chosen by people more because it is, of course, it's much lower risk. It doesn't involve any cutting of the skin, so we don't have to deal with going to the OR, anesthesia, bleeding, and other complications like hernias, pain, etc. There's no downtime, which means since there's no surgery, you can go back to your daily routine, your work, etc. the same day. Because surgical techniques will require a wound management and other time to heal. And then there are still consistent long-term results. So non-invasive still gives you very good results. As long as you maintain your current diet and lifestyle and your weight stays consistent, non-invasive body contouring is actually better because it targets just the fat cells that you want to kill, and it kills them permanently. And most people can benefit from it because surgery, you have to be a candidate for surgery. So it's not for people who have serious medical conditions. It prevents them from elective surgery. Non-invasive body contouring is safe and effective for most people. So that's why it is a very popular procedure. And so now this is my cool sculpting part. And so cool sculpting is the #1 non-surgical fat reduction treatment these days. It is the most popular way of non-invasive way of body contouring that is used in the United States. And cool sculpting technology is proven to deliver safe and predictable results. It has actually been FDA approved, and that is why we use it in our office as well. It's of course non-surgical, like no downtime means you can literally get the procedure and go back to work from the office or back to, you can go and swim the same day or anything. And usually the most common areas or the approved areas that FDA has approved are your midsection. So that means your abdomen, your flanks, that is your love handles, your back fat, then your under the chin area, upper arms, and your thighs. So your inner thighs, outer thighs, and under the buttock area. And it is evidence-based. So there's been many articles that have been written on it. There have been more than 6 million procedures worldwide. So it is very widely used. So it was discovered actually right here in Boston. And it was discovered by 2 Harvard physicians, Dr. Dieter Manstein and Rox Anderson. And I actually had the pleasure of hearing them speak a few years ago in a Harvard conference on aesthetics. So what they observed years ago, they read some articles that there were children who were keeping popsicles in their mouth for a long time. And after a while, they started getting dimples in their cheeks. And then there was another article that they read about that there were women, young women riding horses in the winter, and they started getting indentations in their inner thighs because in the winter it was really cold. So they started studying this. They figured that freezing is probably a way to get rid of fat cells. And that is how it was discovered and studied. And then the technique was patented by these 2 physicians. So how it works is, so this is just a very basic diagram. So cool sculpting, first, we have 2 types of fat in our body. One is subcutaneous or just under the skin. And the second is visceral fat, which means it's surrounding our organs. So cool sculpting does not do anything to the visceral fat. That is only gotten rid of by diet and exercise. You can get rid of subcutaneous fat with cool sculpting. And a lot of us, you know, we diet, we exercise, but those pockets of fat under the skin just stay. You know, we all women, especially, we probably know there's like lower abdomen pocket after we've had children. So, so if you see in the slide #2, like when you're cool sculpting, it freezes the targeted fat cells in that area because we apply the applicator in the area. And in the following weeks, our own body's macrophages or, you know, cells that clean up dead cells, they digest the fat cells. And so then those fat cells are permanently destroyed. In one treatment, you could expect about 25% of the fat cells destroyed in that area. Okay, so, and the other thing is that fat is evenly distributed throughout our body. And the maximum number of fat cells that anybody is going to have is determined at puberty. And after that, we don't get any more or less fat cells. They're never change. So when we gain weight and we feel that we've gained weight, it's just the same fat cells becoming bigger. And if we lose weight, the same fat cells shrink and become smaller. So cool sculpting, what it does is it targets the areas. If you see that fat cells are evenly distributed here, like you can see the fat cells here are shown in the diagram in the abdomen, the thighs, arms, chin, etc. So when you target that area, they still remain evenly distributed. So you're not going to look crazy lopsided or anything. It does it very well. And so as I had said before, you can reduce in one treatment up to 25%. So it visibly reduces fat layer. And the results are long lasting. So they have studied that up to 9 years of results. It hasn't existed for longer than that. So we don't have data beyond that. And as I said, FDA has only cleared it for the parts of the body. So for example, your abdomen, your flanks, your back, thighs, arms, and chin. And then when you get your procedure, so you're not going to see any results immediately. So that's another difference between abdominoplasty or laser liposuction, is you see the results immediately, but here your body is going to be digesting those dead fat cells. So it takes 2 to 3 months to see the best results. But once you're treated and those fat cells are frozen, they're gone for good. As long as you maintain your weight with your same diet and exercise routine, you will see long-term results. Because those fat cells are dead. As we said, you know, they were predetermined at puberty, so you've lost those fat cells. So how and what to expect? So this is the second part. So when anybody comes in to get their cool sculpting procedure, we first have consultation. We don't treat on the day of consultation. You know, it takes about 35 to 45 minutes to consult on a patient, depending on the areas they want. And you know, we do an exam on the area that they want to be treated. For example, this woman in the picture, she probably wants her back fat or her sides treated. So, you know, we make sure that the fat is of proper consistency, that the area is treatable, and, you know, they're not extremely obese, because this is really not a weight loss procedure. This is just a body sculpting procedure. And then, so then we schedule treatment, and treatment is very easy, painless. It does take time because as you see in this picture, that white thing is the applicator, and it is attached to this patient's abdomen. And so it suctions your fat into the applicator, and then we turn the cooling on. But it's very, very comfortable. People generally either read, sleep, go on the laptop. We also have Netflix in our office, so they just watch movies. And they just, you know, spend their time there. And then, so then the results. So I have a bunch of pictures, which we can see. So if here on the left side, on the top, you see, you know, this patient's abdomen was slightly bulging in the bottom. And then 8 weeks, so she probably got 2 cool sculpting treatments. 8 weeks after the first session, you can see the middle picture, and then on the right, it's 9 weeks after the second. And if you see on the bottom, those blue cartoons, the first treatment, she got 1 large applicator put on the lower abdomen. So that was the debulking part. And the second time was really the actual sculpting part. And she had the 4 small applicators put. And then 9 weeks later, she had this result. So I have other pictures. And so this is another. You see the little bulge on the lower abdomen. And then 8 weeks after in the bottom, you can see the number of applicators. So 2 large applicators and 2 small applicators were applied. That's why, you know, when people come and ask us, how much will I pay you? And it's everybody's different, because each applicator is separate cost. So this is another one. They had this 16 weeks after the second cool sculpting session, completely flattened abdomen. And this person had another problem. They had an uneven abdomen. So if they have bulges and pockets of fat in different areas, so they had the applicators placed differently, and that smoothed out their belly nicely. And this is a male. As you can see, men usually struggle with love handles. So you can see this person's love handles have been, you know, flattened a little bit. And this is a side picture. This is back fat example. You know, a lot of us can see those bulges under the bra, especially Indian women under their saris can see it. This is a good way to smoothen out that back fat. And then a lot of us also have uneven back fat. As you see in this patient on the left, she has, you know, a slight bulge lower on the one side and a higher bulge on the other side. And so that can kind of even it out. Again, more love handles on a male. This is back fat. And this patient was troubled by her double chin. So this is 8 weeks after her second cool sculpting session. Another double chin. This patient is seeing from the front. Her double chin is much better. And this one from the left to the right. So men, of course, men can even get their double chin treated. This is an arm. So you know how we call them back wings, the fat underneath the arm. As you know, we can treat that as well. This is another one which the fat kind of got lesser. These are the inner thighs. A lot of women are troubled by their inner thighs, especially in the summer when they want to go to the beach. So they come for the inner thigh treatments. This is a 5 weeks after the cool sculpting session. Another inner thighs. And this is from the back. You can see the inner thighs. There's a little gap that we formed. And then there's some women have these bulges under their buttocks. So that, if you see from the left to the right. And this is one of our patients. So as you see, she looks relatively, you know, overweight, obese, but yet she had some results, flattening over abdomen. And this is a double chin that we treated. And this is the outer thigh. A lot of women are very, you know, troubled by, like, if they wear leggings or tight jeans, they don't like their outer thigh to bulge. So we smooth out the peak. And this was only after one session. If she had come in for another session, it would have even gotten better. And so this man actually, he experimented on himself. He treated one love handle on one side and not the other. And then 6 years after, he had actually gained weight and he still saw that the flattening of the love handle was still there. So in our practice, cool sculpting, we distinguish ourselves because a lot of cool sculpting is also conducted by med spas, but my husband and I, Dr. Vikas Murchia, were both physicians. We lead these consultations. If somebody comes in, we both went. So Cool Sculpting offers a Cool Sculpting University, which is a training program. So we went there. We're certified with that. And then there's a Cool Sculpting Masters University, which we went to as well. And crystal practice means we've done, you know, we've been doing it for 4+ years. And we have the full portfolio. So we have 2 machines. Since I told you each applicator can be placed on your abdomen for between 35 and 45 minutes. So it takes time. You know, you're probably in the office for 2 to 4 hours, depending on the areas you have to treat. So we have 2 machines that we can simultaneously apply to do 2 different parts of your body. So it actually makes the treatment much faster. And then, so then the live demo. So again, this is unfortunately because of the pandemic, no live demo, but this was recorded last year at our practice. I was doing the recording and my husband, Dr. Murchia, was doing the treatment. So here.
Is there a volume to the video?
The volume is maxed out on my end. I'm sorry.
Because we can't hear anything what he is saying.
Oh, I can actually explain.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, thank you.
He is applying the applicator on her. What he did is he cleaned her skin with a special wipe. This is all to prevent frostbite to the skin. And then there he put a little gel pad, and then now he's applying that applicator. So and then he's just supporting it with this pillow. And what's happening is now after he does all the supporting, then he's gonna apply the vacuum button, and it's gonna suction that whole fat into that applicator. And then once it's suctioned,
white thing will suck all the.
No. So this applicator has a cup inside it.
Oh.
And now he starts the vacuum, so it's going to suction the fat. And then after the fat is suctioned and the applicator is tightly secured to your fat, then he turns on the cooling. And he's handing her a button, so because the machine can alarm us if there's any problem she faces. And the patient is saying she only feels a little cold, but she's very comfortable.
She, to me, looks thin.
Yeah, I mean, she's a relatively fit patient. She actually diets and exercises, so she just has a very small bulge.
Okay. Shikha, on average, like I know for the laser liposuction, it can be anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000 per treatment, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
What is the average price for?
So the retail price of, so for example, this patient, the one applicator, the retail price is $750. But, you know, we always have our running specials. We're always giving 25% off. And I think Cool Sculpting's website has, so the video is over. The Cool Sculpting website has a lot of promotions going on right now because of the pandemic. They have gift cards they're selling for half price. So say somebody came in for just one applicator, then they would be paying half of $750. But most patients who come in need at least 4 to 6 applicators for their abdomen, you know.
Is there a group rate? Is there a package deal?
Yeah, that's what I said. We always have specials and discounts going on. So there, we definitely offer discounts based on, you know, people and case by case. And but that's what I'm saying. So yes. So for example, you needed 6 applicators.
My point was the subsequent treatments are the same price, or they go down in price if you need additional setting?
No, they're the same price. They're
Same
the same price. Yeah.
So Shikha, I don't think we need shared screen anymore. We just like to see your face.
Thank you. All right.
So it's definitely, from what I'm seeing, from what you're saying, it's half the price of laser liposuction.
Yeah, even if you were to get, say, 6 applicators, it would still be cheaper than liposuction. Yes. And of course, there's absolutely no downtime. It doesn't hurt. So.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
But liposuction would be instant.
Yes, yes. So yeah, that's the thing. This, you have to wait for your own body to process those dead fat cells. You will not. So if you're preparing for an event, you have to at least come 3 to 4 months in advance to do this procedure.
Yeah, so this doesn't give you instant gratification.
No, it does not.
Well, thank you, Shikha.
You're welcome.
We'll ask Dr. Seiler ready to come.
Can I just ask a question? Are there any side effects or adverse effects we should think of?
Oh, to Cool Sculpting? Yeah. So there potentially could be side effects. There's, you know, sometimes, very rarely, patients can experience pain with this procedure and tingling, because it does, when it's freezing your fat cells, there are also small nerves under the skin. It could cause, you know, like that nerve pain afterwards, which usually goes away. But if it's really severe, we prescribe medications to help, such as gabapentin. But I, in the 4 years, have never prescribed gabapentin to anybody. Usually just, we recommend not to take Advil because we really need the inflammation for the fat cells to be digested. Inflammation is how the body's getting rid of the fat cells. So we say Tylenol if you have pain. But I think I have had one patient complain of pain in 4 years, and that's it. Nobody else has ever complained of pain. And then there's another very rare side effects called adipose hyperplasia, which means that your fat cells, instead of being killed, will actually grow. And if that happens, then the patient can come back, we evaluate them, and the company Cool Sculpting pays for their full liposuction procedure to compensate them.
So how about patients who are on anti-inflammatories for other conditions?
Yeah, I mean, they won't see such good results. You need some inflammation at least. I mean, if you're on some anti-inflammatories for something serious like rheumatoid arthritis, we're not going to tell you to stop it, you know?
So thank you, Shikha. We have Sila ready, waiting to give us a presentation.
Hi, Shikha. How are you? I just posted a link on the chart. So just about the immune boosting recipes, you can repost it later. So I'm going to share the screen now. Thank you. Can you see it, Shikha? I mean, Sapna? Oh, good.
Yeah, it's working.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I hope you're staying safe during these challenging times. And I am Dr. Shailaja Reddy. All the information, this is just a disclaimer, all the information given about the health conditions, treatment products and dosages are for educational purpose only, does not constitute as a medical advice. And this is my information in case you leave early. I just want to post it before I go. This is our clinic number. That's my cell number that you can reach. And this is my family, my husband and my 2 boys. This is me at the Functional Medicine Conference. Just a little bit of introduction about me. I know Shikha, I know Sapna gave the introduction. I went to medical school in India and did my residency in internal medicine in St. Elizabeth Hospital in Brighton. And I have more than 25 years of experience as an internist. Few years back, I did fellowship in functional integrative medicine. Now I practice the functional medicine. I'm a functional medicine consultant. We treat isolated, we don't treat isolated set of symptoms like you do in the traditional practice. We look at the root causes and do advanced testing and tailor the treatment plan according to individual patient needs. This is actually personalized medicine and it's evidence-based medicine. So then why I chose this path? I feel that, first of all, I have a calling to provide the highest quality advanced and natural healthcare possible to as many people as possible. It seems like the universe appears to be leading me to become a healer and of course, doctor in the first place. And the reason initially started when I had my own health challenges. It was several years ago when I was very busy, tired, and I never used to take care of my health. And I had autoimmune conditions, miscarriages, and panic attacks, and everything, a lot of dental issues. Then one day I had a severe thrombocytopenia and I was admitted in one of the top hospitals, sitting on the bed, and I was told that I had 50% chance of survival. So my husband was shocked. He had 2 young boys in hand and like, what is going on? Then I kind of realized that, it was all my negligence. Then fortunately I survived. And they said, if it recurs, we have to get the spleen out. There's not that many options left. That's when I was working for a VA hospital at the time. Then I had a few patients who were really very healthy. Then I talked to them and they became good friends of mine. They were from the raw New England community. I'm like, I used to go to their potlucks and they eat so healthy, especially most of their food was raw. And then they gifted me some books, which I went through. Then I realized that what I was doing was pretty bad. So at that point, I've changed my lifestyle drastically. Then I've seen so many health benefits. Then I've decided to get a formal training and I wanted to treat my patients the way I healed my body. And then I got the formal education. I went to the integrative medicine and I did my fellowship and I went to the Institute of Functional Medicine. I got certified there. The whole process took me about 5 years, more than that, in fact. Then now I decided to do my own practice, and there was no going back since. My goal is to help patients tap their innate healing power to its full potential. I chose this path to contribute and make a difference in the world. And my personal health journey made it possible for me to practice medicine in the way that I had always wanted to practice. And this is the Western medicine, and this is the functional medicine. This is a pill per an but we try to diminish the pills and improve your body naturally. And in our clinic, we do weight loss treatments and reversal of chronic diseases and detoxification. My main focus is on digestive dysfunction. And obviously, because this is the root cause for many conditions, it fixes other conditions too. So that's what I focus mainly on. Today, we're going to talk about improving immune resilience, now and in long term, and natural perspectives of novel times. How to improve immune resilience? What is immune resilience? It's our body's ability to ward off infections when we are exposed to viruses and bacteria. There has never been a better time than now to improve your immune resilience, as COVID-19 painfully taught us how essential it is to safeguard our health and chronic disease. To stay healthy is not luxury anymore. It's simply a matter of life and death. Objectives today, we're going to talk about immunity. Of course, we're going to talk about virus and lifestyle changes that you can do. Simple tips I'm going to tell you. And I'm going to address on the detoxification because that plays a major role in immune resilience. And we'll talk about supplements. Then this is the slide about the virus. I'm sure you all must have seen this a zillion times. I didn't want to put it, but kind of I need to address this to talk about immune resilience. This is a slide of coronavirus. We cannot control the virus. We all know that, but you can control the host. Then healthy host is a strong immune system with a good barrier function and low comorbidities. This is the slide. Who are at high risk to contact COVID-19? Obviously, you all know that it's a cardiovascular conditions, especially high blood pressure and all the cardiac issues, and diabetes, obesity, age, and chronic pulmonary diseases. And why are we talking about the age? Because something called immunosenescence, which is degeneration of our immune cells as you get older. It's a chronological and biological age. They're based on health factors. Then obesity, right? Obesity for younger patients. I'm going to show you the next slide. Look at this slide. This is the red bar is for older patients, and golden bar is for younger patients. For the older patients, see that the cardiovascular is the main reason. For the younger patients, you see that obesity, right? For younger patients, obesity is linked to severe infection, and for older patients, cardiovascular. Obesity causes chronic low-grade inflammation and increase in the circulatory pro-inflammatory cytokines. That's why it is a risk factor. Fat cells deposit toxins. Then look at this one. This is a visceral fat. Visceral fat is a fat that infiltrates the organs. I know that Shika just told you about love handles and all, but we're talking about the visceral fat here. This is not the subcutaneous fat. Okay, subcutaneous fat is pinch an inch. An increase in visceral fat area by 1 square centimeter, see that there, is associated with 24-fold increase of risk of admission to ICU. Interestingly, this study showed no increased risk with subcutaneous fat. So it is most of the inflammation that we're talking about. Visceral fat, 80% is diet and stress and 20% is exercise. And subcutaneous fat is 80% exercise and 20% diet. So it takes a while to remove the visceral fat. We may have genes for obesity, but genes are not our destiny. They load the gun. They don't fire the gun, but lifestyle and environment fires the gun. When you're obese, you already have compromised lung capacity due to compression of the diaphragm, lungs and chest capacity. And screening, I know there are several other screenings. I just put this one because loss of smell and taste has strong association with COVID-19. So we should include this in the screening measures because if you can't smell or taste, you are 10 times more likely to have COVID-19. There are cranial nerves, and it affects the cranial nerves as well. Because a couple of my friends in India got diagnosed with this without any symptoms except the loss of smell and taste. That was the only symptom they had. And why this virus spreads so easily? Why are we so concerned about it? Because first of all, viruses are not alive per se. They need a live host in which they can infect live cells to replicate. The viral DNA, once a cell is infected, newly replicated viruses exit the cell and move to the next cell. So it has a spike protein. This protein binds to the ACE receptor and activates a furans. The ability of these spikes to fuse to the receptor is 10 times more than the previous coronavirus. This unleashes the NRF inflammasome and initiates the cytokine storm. The inflammation is so severe that it's destroying the normal lung cells and ultimately leading to death. More damage is done by patient's own immune system. That's why I'm addressing this here. Our body is not able to put off the fire that was started by the virus. The takeaway here is the virus does not kill the human cells. It's the body's inflammatory response that kills. And what is immune system? Our immune system provides 3 levels of defense against the diseases causing organisms. First one, number 1, which is the most important actually, is barriers. They prevent entry of skin and mucous membrane. They prevent entry of the bacteria, viruses through the skin and mucous membrane. So there are a lot of barriers we have, like in the stomach, we have acid, which kills the bugs. But as you get older, our body loses the acid production and its defense. So we have to pay attention to all that. And I'm going to tell you what else can do this. And the innate immunity. This is the immunity. This is a general defense. This was given to us when mankind started. So like millions of years ago. WBC called neutrophils and macrophages. They engulf and destroy the foreign invaders and damage cells. And the last one is adaptive immunity. This is the immunity that we got like few thousand years ago. So this is mainly the adaptive immunity is white blood cell, T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. The T lymphocytes kill the infected cells, and the B lymphocytes form antibodies and destroy the infected cells. Because COVID-19 is a novel virus, we don't have this acquired immunity. And let's talk about the vaccines and the antiviral treatments. The vaccines and antiviral treatments probably don't meet the global needs, at least in the beginning of the pandemic, because they are very specific to the exact virus and or even to the exact strain. When you take the nutrients and botanicals, it protects you from any viruses by working through the multiple physiological pathways. Then you can give the drugs alongside the nutrition and biological interventions. I don't advocate giving drugs to healthy people. Just, some people are talking about prevention to the physicians like that by taking drugs. And there are several dozen antiviral interventions you can comment, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to focus on the most important ones. So let's talk about the nutrition. I know we all kind of know like what exactly the nutrition is, but I'm going to put everything together here. So basically we all know, right? You have to cut down the sugars and you have to cut down the starches, and you have to consume a lot of fruits and vegetables, and cut down the processed food and eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables. We'll talk about this in detail in the next few slides. This is GPS and DNA. For the sake of remembering, this is an acronym. This is anti-inflammatory diet. What is GPS? It's like no gluten, no processed food, no sugars. And DNA, it will take care of DNA, which is no dairy, no nicotine, and no artificial sweeteners. There is when we eat any food, it can create inflammation. Any food actually can create some inflammation, but certain foods create more inflammation. So these are all the inflammation creating foods. Gluten, dairy, soy, corn, eggplant belongs to the nightshade vegetables. In my practice, we do food zoomer testing. When you get this food zoomer testing for different zoomers, we can exactly tell what grains your body can take, and how severe intolerance you have for the gluten. There are like several substances, the wheat has. So it's an amazing test. It's a beautiful test. Recently, I was diagnosed with someone who had like a severe inflammation. He was unsure what to stop, because then we did the testing. The test showed that he had severe, his body was creating severe inflammation to corn. So that was so easy for us to tell, okay, stop corn. It is not like a general advice we are giving. You're giving specific advice for individual person what to stop. Then food sensitivities. Not everybody has the sensitivity to the same food, right? So when you do the food sensitivity testing, that gives us information like what foods we are sensitive to. And in general traditional practice, I was there, I used to do the food sensitivity test for about 10, 20 foods. It was about like $800 or $900 for that one simple test. In our practice, we get at least 100 times more information than that, and we do like 200, 300 food sensitivities, and food zoomers in addition to that give it different information. All this tells us exactly what you can eat and what your body can tolerate. And let's talk about clean eating. First of all, we need to focus more on plant-based diet, because there are so many antioxidants on the plant-based diet. And there is several other benefits, and it's very easy for your body to digest the food, especially when it comes to the protein. The body can easily assimilate the plant-based protein. But I mean, I'm not against vegetarian meat protein, but it takes a little much on your bodies for the digesting meat protein. Then more fruits and vegetables. Eat a handful of nuts every day. Hands are loaded with antioxidants, with good oils, and a lot of fiber, and so many benefits from the nuts. So just eat a handful. Again, you need to know what nuts your body can take it. One of my close friends, she had like severe allergies, and she didn't know what to stop also. Then she suffered it for almost 10 years. She was very close to me, but I never could do any testing. Since I started my practice, I did the testing. And she came back and told me that after she stopped almonds, which was positive on the testing, her symptoms were completely gone. It was just amazing, like how these tests and how they can pinpoint, what you should be doing. And avocados, mushrooms, and green teas, they are excellent foods to strengthen your immune system. Then herbs are amazing. They have like so much auric value for the herbs, antioxidant value. Several herbs in our Indian culture, a lot of herbs are used, and I usually make the spicy tea, which I'm going to show you the picture at the end. And of course, you will get the recipes. There is a link for the recipes on the chat box, and I'm going to send an email also. If you can send me your email if you need the PDF. And Smash, whoever is fish eaters, I just want to tell you, this Smash is the fish that are very good for you. This is a cold water fish, which is like a salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herrings. And meat, when it comes to meat, I'm not going to talk about the CFO operations. That's totally a different story, but you should focus mainly on grass-fed meat. Recently, my both kids are home, because even though I eat mostly vegetarian, for my kids, I wanted some good meat. I ordered online. It was from somewhere in Arkansas. This totally grass-fed and no hormones, no antibiotics, nothing in that meat. It was like so delicious. I was very hesitant when I ordered it, because I did it for the first time. So please focus on the grass-fed meat, and it may not be available in all the local grocery stores, but that's something we really have to pay attention to. Then bone broth. Not that many people eat bone broth. Bone broth is excellent food. It's because I'm looking at a lot of leaky gut and all these intestinal permeability issues. So bone broth is gut healing. So it's very easy to make bone broth, and the recipe is there. And it's something everybody should eat if you're not a vegetarian. And this is a typical paleo plate, vegetables, meat, and fruits. See, the grain portion is almost not there, because the grains were not in the world. It came only like for the past 100 years. Before that, it was all paleo diet. We didn't have the farming. So the grains were really not designed for us to consume. We can take a small amount, but we eat a lot more than what our body can take it. Sugar is number one, actually. This is sugar disrupts the immune system. It is extremely detrimental to health. You should cut down the sodas and the alcohol, especially. And sugar is not just the white sugar. The grains like rice, wheat, and a lot of root vegetables contain starches. And when it comes to vegetables, it's about 7 to 8 servings per day. And we should include a lot of fermented vegetables and other probiotic containing foods. And avoid the top inflammatory foods that I said, like, GPLs, dairy, soy, corn, eggs, and nightshade vegetables. Okay, then let's go to the lifestyle. Okay, this is very important. Not just the diet, there are so many other factors that bring you immune resilience. Stress reduction. I can't emphasize enough how important the stress reduction is. Chronic stress can negatively alter your immune system and make you more likely to get sick. Identify your personal stress reduction strategies and practice them regularly. Personally, I have an insight timer app. Then I practice it at least 10 to 15 minutes every day. And if I have time on the weekends, and I do almost an hour practicing the meditation, and I'm in a group, and we all do the group meditation too. And why we are talking sleep and exercise and water, we're going to talk to them individually. And this is the autonomic nervous system. We know that we have voluntary nervous system, which is your sensations, motor functions, and the autonomic nervous system is involuntary nervous system. It's a parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight system. This was to escape if tiger jumps on you or something like that. So most of the blood goes to your muscles and the heart. Parasympathetic is the healing system. It's for the digestion, absorption, and to produce the babies and all those things in the parasympathetic system. Nowadays, when you are stressed, the body takes you to flight or fight mode. The hormones such as cortisol, norepinephrine are released, are not necessary for you because there is no need to jump, right? They have bad effects on your body. If they stay for a long time, they have bad effects. But the body can differentiate the stress. Even if you have something your boss was yelling at you, or that type of stress is also stress for the body. But it's used to producing the same hormones that it produced when the tiger jumped on you. But those hormones stay in your body for several days, in fact, for one stress response. And for when you have the parasympathetic system activated, it's the rest and digest system. It releases the good neurotransmitters, okay? When you have a stressful mind, it's like a spinning wheel. So you need to kind of slow down that wheel. So you have to do something to slow down that wheel, right? So what we're doing is meditation. Even if you do it for 10 minutes, you still slow down that wheel, and it takes a while for your body to pick up that speed, which is usually a day. That's why you don't have to do it all day. You just have to do it for 10 minutes and calm it down. Either it could be a prayer, whatever you like, you have to calm down your body. If you have any trouble doing that, there's a heart math monitor, right? Look at this. This slide shows that the stress produces the stress granules. If it's acute stages, we can get rid of these granules. But in a if it's a chronic thing, it's very difficult for your body to get rid of these stress granules. And this is a heart math monitor app. This is a biofeedback device that clips on the ear. It hooks to your phone, and you use your breath to regulate your heart rate to take you out of this flight or fight mode. You're more cognitively functional when you're not in fight or flight mode. So don't make any major decisions when you're in that mode, which is a sympathetic dominant state. This math can replace overwhelm and fatigue with renewing feelings of balance and restored energy. And let's talk about this. These are the meditation apps that I recommend: Insight Timer, which I use personally, and the Headspace Calm. They're all good. Excellent apps, actually. It's amazing how beautifully they designed those apps. And sleep, let's talk about the sleep. The good quality of sleep for 7 to 8 hours, it is essential because your immune system rests. Sleep has a big influence on immune function. It is so essential to get plenty of sleep and practice good sleep hygiene. Because the body resets the circadian rhythm and help you get a good immune system when you're good sleep, at least 50 hours of sleep per week. And the one thing I want to mention is, if you, for any reason, you cannot sleep or you have problem sleeping, actually taking a small dose of melatonin is actually not a bad thing. It will give you really well-rested sleep. I would prefer that rather than taking other medications you should try. But higher doses, I don't recommend. A small doses, anything less than 2 milligrams or the max 3 milligrams. See how many benefits this melatonin has here. And lifestyle factors, and let's talk about the exercise. Moderate regular physical activity helps to boost immune system by raising the levels of infection fighting white blood cells and antibodies. It increases the circulation and decreases the stress hormones. You should establish and follow an exercise program to not only help prevent the respiratory infections, but also to improve the cognitive and physical resilience. My personal preference is yoga. It improves the lymphatic flow, and our ancestors were brilliant, brilliant to find different yoga postures to move the drainage of the entire body to help move toxins out of the body. This is me doing yoga in a resort in Muscat. Then what is it? Okay, water. Drinking water is such an important thing. This is the rule of thumb is 8 by 8. So you drink about 8-ounce glasses, 8 glasses. You need water for the toxins to come out of the cells and for the nutrients to get into the cell. How much water to drink is divide your weight in pounds by 2. That many ounces of water you need to drink. But if you exercise, if you're in a hot weather, or if you have infection, the number goes up. And if you have any restrictions, like congestive heart failure or so, you need to just talk to your physician about how much water you have to drink. And the next slide is detoxification. This is actually my most favorite thing. Detoxification is pulling the chemicals out of your body. It doesn't matter how good you are at eating or how much exercise you do, everything. But if your body is loaded with toxins, it's very difficult to keep your immune system strong. The detoxification pulls the chemicals out. Then how do we have about 6-month detoxification, more than that, in fact, protocols, but I'm just going to give you some simple measures, okay? There are a few important things you can do for the detoxification, like I talked, water. Drinking water gets the toxins out of your body, and exercise. Sufficient regular exercise is an important component of healthy lifestyle, and because it improves the circulation, it gets the toxins out of the body. And sleep. When you sleep, we have the lymphatic system in the brain. It's called glymphatic system, that basically pulls the toxins out of the brain. So you need the glymphatic system to get the toxins out of the body. And then I'm going to talk about time-restricted eating, which is fasting. Nowadays, a lot of people are talking about the fasting. I have an app for fasting. It's called Zero app. That's a beautiful app. Intermittent fasting is an ancient secret of health. It is ancient because a lot of people practice. They have been doing it for thousands of years, right? It's perhaps the oldest and most powerful dietary interventions. I usually recommend like 16 to 8, which means 16 hours you don't eat, 8 hours only you eat. You do this like 3 or 4 times a week, depending on your risk factors. And personally, I do sometimes like, full day fasting, which is like, we call it Ekadasi. It is a auspicious day. It comes once every 2 weeks. So you can do that. You can choose any type of fasting. Why it is so important? Because the body is switching from glucose metabolism to ketone metabolism when you fast. These ketone bodies that are produced when you fast regulate the activity of many proteins that are known to influence health and aging. In addition, fasting causes autophagy, which means our body eats old cells and stimulate formation of new cells. This is immunorejuvenation. So these beautiful benefits come only when you fast. So if you feel hungry, initially it's going to be tough, but just drink water. Sometimes when you're thirsty also, body asks for food. Don't, think you need to eat it. Just by drinking water, you can easily do fasting. Some people don't even drink water, but that's probably too much. But if you can do it, that's also fine. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the gut microbiome. So we are talking about toxins, right? The risk factor for your body to get the toxins into your body is your lining of the gut. Look at this. This is just a single layer lining here. So when you have leaky gut, the second right half of the slide is a leaky gut and the left side is a normal gut. So when you have this leaky gut, see the bacteria, they come, even the normal bacterial cell membrane, once it goes into your body, this is where the blood circulation, everything, then the LPS, which is substances from the bacterial cell wall, they create so much inflammation and you absorb more toxins when you have a leaky gut. So we want to make sure that you don't have leaky gut when we detoxify. So which is actually a very common problem, especially when you have a chronic conditions. Most of them, 90% of them have some kind of leaky gut. And let's talk about sauna a little bit. Infrared saunas are the best, and sweating which happens in sauna eliminates heavy metals, chemicals to the skin, and relieves a burden on your liver and kidneys. If you don't have sauna, maybe you can go out and exercise or do some yoga. Some yoga poses make you sweat a lot. If they do it by elevating the core body temperature, your body also releases heat shock proteins that help block the replication of the influenza, any viruses. And of course, we are not going to talk about all the behavior, probably about it, hand washing, avoid face touching, avoid public areas and surface cleaning, and neti potting. So the reason I want to talk about neti potting is because when you get the virus, before you even get any symptoms, it sits in your nasal lining and the sinuses. So there for about 4 days. If you do the neti potting every day, because me and my husband, we both do the neti potting when we go out or when we travel, then you're kind of clearing the viruses. In fact, my parents are home. I gave them a nebulizer. I told them to do the like very diluted hydrogen peroxide and iodine treatment. So far, knock on the wood, they're all following my advice, and nobody had any kind of problems there, even though a lot of their neighbors got the infection. So far, they're doing very well just with these simple measures. So I'm not talking about the nebulizing here, but that's also something you need to consider. It's a little bit controversial because hydrogen peroxide is a powerful substance, but if you do it in the right dilution, that should be okay. Then the vitamins. I personally believe from research and literature that the vitamins help, doesn't matter how healthy you eat. Let me see, vitamin C. This is number 1 vitamin. Vitamin C is a primary agent that stimulates and maximizes the potency of the immune system. A lot of foods have the vitamin C, GABA, amla, and citrus fruits. But you could eat those foods, but taking at the time of these challenging times, when you have risk factor, it's good to take good quality vitamin C supplements. I prefer liposomal vitamin C. That's what I prescribe to my patients through the professional grade supplements, supplement websites. Then vitamin A is also important. When we do the micronutrient testing, we kind of know like what vitamins you're low. That's how I personalize the recommendations. But in general, these are all the vitamins that you need. Vitamin D, this is something we need to talk. Vitamin D, I have another slide actually. So I want to talk about vitamin D because it's a sunshine vitamin, and we just taking the vitamin D supplements probably is not enough because your body needs magnesium and vitamin K2 for the vitamin D to act effectively. The deficiency of vitamin D is associated with more frequent and more severe infections. Okay, you can obtain sufficient sun exposure in the summertime, but here for us in the wintertime, it's difficult to get that much vitamin D. So make sure that your K2 and magnesium are normal, but if you don't have access to get the micronutrient testing, just simply take vitamin D that comes with K2 and also take some magnesium supplement nowadays, because of all these electronics and all, everybody needs some magnesium supplements, I believe, because that mineral is used up a lot by electromagnetic fields when you are in. This is the study that was done on COVID-19 patients. See the patients with low vitamin D on the extreme right side. Their admission rate is very low, complications were low, and the patients with normal vitamin D had low admissions and high admissions for the patients with low vitamin D. And these are all the vitamin C containing food. This is the liposomal vitamin C. Vitamin C is an antiviral, immune strengthening, and improves memory, and it's an antioxidant too. Then the zinc and selenium, iodine. These are the minerals that I usually focus on. Zinc, the dosage is 30 to 50 milligrams. I prefer the form zinc picolinate, which I have it on the next slide where I show all the supplements together. Then when you take excess zinc, it can bring your copper down, so that's something we monitor for. And the selenium is an essential trace mineral for proper thyroid function, normal antioxidant function, and it's immune strengthening. And in particular, why we are focusing on selenium, because a lot of soils are deficient in selenium. If you are deficient of selenium, you're more prone for the viral infections. Once you keep your body with all these minerals, you don't get, your body can fight off the virus easily. And selenium is present in Brazil nuts. Eating 3 to 5 Brazil nuts in a day is just enough. That's all you need. And this is a zinc, the food that contains the zinc, and this is the selenium, 50 to 70 micrograms per day. And the other substance, I want to talk a little bit about NAC. We use this a lot in our practice. It is N-acetylcysteine. Our body's glutathione acts as an important antioxidant in our body, right? There are so many antioxidants, but this particular antioxidant, glutathione, is the strongest of all. And NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is a prodrug for glutathione. Glutathione plays a role in many chemical reactions. It helps detoxify the chemicals, including some of your body creates naturally. We create toxins naturally also inside our body, right? And we are inhaling so many pollutants, and we take drugs, and the food that we eat has all these drugs and antioxidants in the water. So we need to detoxify all that. The amount of glutathione that our body naturally produces is probably not enough. It needs some help. So NAC is the best thing you can do to help your body with the antioxidant capacity, especially if you're drinking alcohol that takes up so much of your glutathione storage. So you need to be mindful of that. And this is the gap where, we produce the free radicals when you have antioxidants that donates the, electron to the free radical. That's why we're talking so much about antioxidants. And quercetin is another thing that helps a lot, which is not in the slide. And this is the usual dosages that I recommend: vitamin A, D, C, and we usually recommend spore-based probiotics. And it all varies depending on, your body status, and it's much better recommendations we can give once we do the micronutrient testing. And I'm going to give you some immune boosting menu. Okay, this is everything that you're seeing here is from my kitchen. This is tea that actually it was recommended even in Ayurveda, similar tea. This has got several spices in this tea, which I personally drink every morning, but you need to watch out for any acid reflux or anything. Some spices can make your acid reflux worse if you have it. And this is oxygen radical absorbing capacity. So order capacity, just to see it on this one, cloves, like how high it is, like oregano, cloves, rosemary, and compared to the other ones. So it's very important to include spices. Fortunately, in Indian cooking, we are used to spices a lot, but be mindful of that and use a lot of spices. Because in summertime in my garden, I had grown so many of them, like oregano, basil, and I focused more on spices this year because I used it a lot in my food. And this is a probiotic breakfast. This is the chia seeds and sauerkraut, and there are some nuts here. This is an excellent breakfast. It's got everything that you need for the whole day. And this one is sago. I don't know whether you know it, but that's a gluten-free grain. I used that and sauerkraut and some fruits and nuts. And this is turmeric buttermilk. Turmeric has so many benefits, and it is an antioxidant, detoxification, it decreases inflammation. And I can talk about turmeric for an hour. So in the interest of time, I'm moving on. This is a turmeric buttermilk. Buttermilk is good because it's a probiotic, and when you add buttermilk to the turmeric, it's even better. So you'll see all the recipes on that PDF document that I have if you would like to have it. And this is a turmeric and ginger drink. Basically, this is excellent drink. You just make ginger water and you add turmeric to it. And sometimes I do add actually apple cider vinegar to it. It helps a lot with your digestion because apple cider vinegar, first of all, has acidity, and your body takes up so much energy to produce hydrochloric acid. As you get older, you cannot produce that much. So if you drink something like this, you know, you're helping your stomach to clean the bacteria. And why I'm saying bacteria, because our small intestine is supposed to be a sterile place. And if you don't have enough acid, the bacteria accumulate in the small intestine and mess up with your absorption of the nutrients. So to clear it, you need acid. So when you are in, especially in a flight or fight and sympathetic mode, a lot of stress, the stomach decreases the acid production a lot. This is bone broth, because I keep bone broth in my freezer. So every time I make a soup, instead of adding water, I mean, in addition to water, I use some bone broth and make the soup. This is like basically one in all meal. This is a lentil soup. This is an excellent way of getting the protein. Of course, if that's not enough, you can add like eggs or any non-meat meat. But you know, you get pretty good amount of protein even in the vegetarian diet with the lentils and the green leaves. And this is oregano and olive salad. It's always include herbs in your salads because you get more benefits when you eat them raw. I mean, you can eat them in cooked herbs also, but it's good if you eat a small portion as raw food. And these are mushrooms. Mushrooms have so many beneficial effects on your immune system. And broccoli. So this is a cruciferous vegetable. It has got glucosinolates, and this is very good for immune system. But you need to know how to cook the broccoli, because if you cook too much, you're not getting all the benefits. Because there is an enzyme called myrosinase in broccoli. So you have to release that enzyme. So if you eat it raw, you may not release it right away. Maybe after chewing you will. But so you have to steam it for a couple of minutes and then take it out. If you cook it for longer than that, then you're losing all these amazing nutrients in broccoli. So just steam it, and you can season it right after steaming if you want. And this is a drink I was talking, apple cider, ginger, and lemon juice. And this I recommend for my patients with any gut-related problems. And this is a kefir. You can even buy it in the store. This has got many more probiotics than the usual yogurt, but it's very easy to make it at home. I make yogurt, kefir, kombucha, and all these drinks at home. This is the natto. This is a probiotic soybean. The reason I have this right here is because this contains a lot of vitamin K2. If you take vitamin D and you eat this one, even a spoonful of this has so much K2 that's very good for your body. This is a fermented rice. And this is fermented oatmeal. When I go on vacations, I just take dry oatmeal and put a small amount of yogurt and water. By next morning, it's almost like a cooked oatmeal. You can just add nuts and have this one. This is an excellent breakfast to consider, especially when you travel. And this is my homemade kombucha. This is an excellent probiotic drink. This is different from other probiotics because it contains acetobacter. The other usual yogurt and all those probiotics contain lactobacilli. And these are all the foods that I make at home. I just have some slides, and I want to talk about this seed. This is Tuk Maria. This is basically basil seed, not holy basil. Okay, you just add about 1 teaspoonful in a cup of water, and then it swells up in 5 to 10 minutes, and it basically cleans you. It is like a sponge that gets the toxins out of your gut. It's a treatment for constipation, in fact, natural remedy. And these are all dandelion. Why I have dandelion here? Because dandelion helps with your biliary system motility. So to move the toxins out of your liver, you need to have a good biliary function. This is one of the herbs that is basically a weed. This is a good weed. And whenever you drink water, it's better to add some herb, to the water. Not too much, just one leaf. This is azwan leaf actually. And I use sometimes mint and cilantro, and you can put a little bit of a slice of lemon also. So that way it alkalizes your body. This is my favorite quote. It's health that is real wealth, and not the pieces of gold or silver by Gandhi. And this is my information. You can reach me through this. And this is my website. And my practice is located in Framingham, Massachusetts. And these are my social media links. Thank you.
Thank you, Sala. It was great. I have one question. What is the spice chai or tea?
Oh, yeah, I have a link on the chart, Sapna. I'm going to repost it. So if you click on that link, you have all the recipes.
Oh, okay.
There are about like 10 to 12 recipes on that link.
Oh, good.
So
was great talk. I'm sure my husband is watching and he will be coming and saying chai chaya. Only hair spit to you.
So I'm going to, I posted the link again now, maybe if anybody came late, you know. So yeah, any other questions I'm here to take, or are we all set? Maybe.
Hi, Shailaja, very nice talk. And I think you gave us a lot of details about what we already know regarding the plant-based diet, the vitamins, a lot of minute information that you give. So one of the things that I noted, vitamin D supplements that you said, I usually recommend 1,000 to 2,000 units for most patients, because we do see that deficiency extremely common. I would, see that in our population. So do you really recommend 4,000 for every single person, or
according to functional medicine ranges, it's we want it to be above 60. I know that when I practiced in traditional practice, we were aiming at 40 to 50. Here we focus more like in the higher range, like 70 to 80 in fact. So it's easier, like if you know what their baseline number is, that way you can recommend how much you want. But if I don't know anything, I just say like 4,000 units. But I have seen many patients who even take like actually 10,000 people. I had a couple of patients last week. They were on 10,000 unit doses for almost like 6-7 years. Their numbers were actually not that bad when I checked it. You know, I got so nervous and I ordered the testing, micronutrient testing right away. And, I'm not saying that that is a recommended dose, but I'm saying we need to check it, how the body is absorbing it, whether you have enough magnesium, whether you have probiotics. If you don't have all this, doesn't matter how much vitamin D you take, you may not absorb it. Those things are very important to look into. It is not just the dose of vitamin D that you recommend. It's individual. Some people may not need it. If they go out to the sun and they're out in the sun for a long time, you don't need that much vitamin D. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I mean, as you said, like in this area, we'll definitely see a lot of deficiency. Yep. Yeah. And also one more thing about in the plants, I don't think you mentioned about berries, because I thought that is very commonly recommended, like blueberries and berries.
Yeah, that is recommended, but there's a lot we could talk because of the time. I didn't address all that. So yeah, berries is recommended. In fact, berries are like low sugar containing fruits. So among the fruits, if you were to choose, berries are important. But when it comes to the serving sizes, we want to eat more of the vegetables, because you have more servings of vegetables in a day. But fruits are only like 2 servings a day, not more than that.
Right. So, and any recommendation about carbs? I know it's more like to build your immunity. That's what you recommended about what, the sizes, but I don't think you mentioned anything about the carbohydrates. Like, is there like what is your?
It's like a starches, right? Carbohydrates is like, it's better to cut down on the carbohydrates in our diet, especially in Indian culture. We eat a lot of grains. So you have carbohydrates even in other things, like, nuts, fruits, vegetables, everything has carbohydrates. But it is not just the amount of carbohydrates that I focus on when the patients come. It is from where you're getting it is important, because you want to use your digestive capacity to the good foods, right? So there's only so much hydrochloric acid your body can produce. There's only so many enzymes your pancreas, and all these things can produce. You want to make good use of that digestive capacity. So you don't want to give all the junk foods and your body wastes its enzymes and hydrochloric acid on that. So if you get the carbohydrates in a nutrient dense foods, which are, the vegetables and all, then you're getting all other benefits also from it. So I would say that a grain recommendation is very low, but that's why, in my practice now, we do the food zoomers. So I do grain zoomer for a lot of people. So that gives me an information on what grain this person, can tolerate. So that way you can give clear recommendations. So the one person came, he was kind of close to Alzheimer's and some degenerative condition with no symptoms. We caught it, and apparently he was very inflammatory to corn. I mean, how could you recommend somebody that don't eat corn unless you do the testing, right? When you do the testing, you can say that, listen, your body is reacting pretty badly to this grain, so you stop it. So that we make use of the advanced testing to give these recommendations.
So what side effect did he have because of the corn? I just wanted to.
We don't know it's because of the corn. When we do the inflammatory markers and neurodegenerative testing and all, this is just like a concierge people. They come and ask us to do all the tests, just to find out whether they're close to getting anything. So we can come up with, these diagnoses, like, we have like so many neuroinflammatory conditions. So we recommend.
Sorry, one last question, one more thing I had, that you said about the fasting. How many hours did you recommend about? I missed that.
Oh,
how many hours did you suggest?
Again, it's individualized decision, because if you have diabetes or if you have any chronic medical conditions, you may not be able to fast like someone else who have no diabetes, right? So, but even for diabetics, I know we tend to think that, I have diabetes, I can't fast. I don't think that is true, because in fact, you're going to get more benefit, from fasting if you have diabetes. So I personally tell people to start slow. Just do 1 day a week of 16 to 8. Maybe initially you can just do like 14 to 10, then advance it to 16 to 8, just for 1 day a week, and then do it like 2 days a week, and do it for 3 days a week. Then I personally do it whole day once a week. For sure, I do it once a week. If I'm busy or I forget, once every 2 weeks is a must, actually, for a religious reason. We have something called Ekadasi. We do fasting on that day. And a lot of people that I know of in the health food industry, they fast even for 3 days straight with no problem. Because in fact, that's when you develop more, you start ketone bodies after 1 full day of fasting. The benefit from ketone bodies is more after 1 day. So you have more benefits even like 16 to 8 fasting also, but you'll get more benefits, when you do a full day fast.
Right. So when you said you fast, do you not eat anything except water?
No,
because fasting in Indian community is different. People eat
know,
sabudana vadas, oily stuff. So I don't know about that. Fruits.
No, I don't eat at all. It's just water I drink. When I'm hungry, I just drink water.
Okay.
That's all. No juices. If you drink juice, then it won't serve the purpose, because you're providing the glucose, right? So then how will you produce ketone bodies? So when you starve your body of the glucose, that's when you produce ketone bodies.
I am a grazer. I have to take a snack every couple hours.
You have what? I'm sorry.
Is there a way to wean off that?
I'm sorry, I didn't get you. You have what?
I am a so-called a grazer who has to have a snack every couple of hours. Otherwise, I feel kind of I have no life in me. So is there a way to wean off of that?
Actually, you just start using a lot of protein in your diet. When you
I do. I'm a non-veg.
It cuts down the cravings. So maybe you need to, the other thing you need to probably look into your gut microbiome. If you have like a good amount of good bacteria there, the cravings go down a lot. So you need to look into evaluating the gut, because
Okay. I mean, I just, I take proteins for the same reason you said, because they burn slowly. So I say, okay, so I'll take an egg without the yolk, actually, just egg white.
No, I'm not talking about egg.
Hours is the same thing.
No, I'm not talking about the egg, actually. I'm talking about the proteins in the vegetarian diet that comes with fiber and all the other nutrients. So you probably need to consider taking the sprouts and handful of nuts every day. Any diet to contains, make sure there's some protein in it. And also, please do get the gut evaluation done. If you have if you improve the gut, or if you have leaky gut, also that could be an issue. Once you heal the gut and you take good quality probiotics, depending on what you need, you should be able to control the cravings. That's actually something we see in our practice. That
So
improves.
the yogurt should help then.
Yogurt
Taking yogurt.
is, depends. The homemade yogurt has some probiotics, but store-bought yogurts are pretty poor. Even though they call it yogurt, it's mostly like a pudding. Depends on what brand you take. I have a sheet that I give out to my patients, like on which brands are good.
So
Thank you.
I think we are done, but Moni will introduce what she's the co-chair about what we are going to have next.
The next Zoom session of Iman Women's Forum is scheduled for October 4th, Sunday at 5 p.m. The delicious presentation is a culinary session with Kiran. She will walk us through creation of yummy Raj Kachoris. The ingredients will be posted ahead of time for viewing. So we hope all of you with your friends and cousins and everyone joins us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
everyone.
Take care,
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye-bye.